Hi guys, it's Kayla. For my family secret video, I decided to do my grandma on my mom's side. I am super close with my grandma. She's kind of like my best friend and I hang out with her a lot. And when we got this assignment, I kind of realized that I don't really know much about my grandma's childhood. Basically, all I knew was that her mom's from Russia and moved to China and then had my grandma. And then when my grandma was little, they moved to America, and my grandma had to leave behind her boyfriend at the time. But that's kind of like all the stories I knew about her childhood, so I really wanted to ask her. So I hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Barbara Whiteley, and I am Kayla's grandmother on her mother's side.
What was life like for your mother in Russia?
My mother lived in Russia until she was 14 years old when she escaped from the Bolsheviks and went to Shanghai. They had a very nice life until the Bolsheviks came, and her father was a jeweler and very wealthy, and they wanted to take all the money from the rich people and threatened to kill them. So her father put her and her sister and two sisters and brother on a train to Shanghai.
What was your childhood like in China?
My childhood in China was very pleasant for me. I was a child and I had a good time. I went to Franciscan missionary schools and I enjoyed my time there. I didn't realize the hardships my parents went through until I became an adult. We were in a refugee camp and we slept in a room that was divided into 4 compartments with 3 other families, and we did not have we had our bathroom and toilets were on the 2nd floor, and but to me, I was a kid and I had a good time running around and playing with my friends.
Are there any specific memories you remember from there?
Yeah, I remember the fact that my parent, in order for me to go to the missionary school, my parents who weren't Catholic had to become Catholic, and my father did. My mother was still Jewish, but they had to get remarried again in the eyes of the Catholic Church, and I was 8 years old when they got remarried. The other memory that I have, I was always petrified of Santa Claus, and they had Santa Claus who had given me a doll when I was 6 years old, which I still have, but he scared me and I just cried. I wouldn't go up to him, I was scared of Santa Claus until I was like 10 or 12 years old.
Why did you travel to America?
Oh, because there was no life for us. I was in Macau. It was a small little island. We were one of the few Europeans there. Everybody else was either Chinese or Portuguese. Well, the Portuguese were a mixture of Chinese and Portuguese. And my parents wanted us to get out of the camp, the refugee camp, and also to get good educations. And America was the land of golden honey. And my father tried for 6 years to get us here, but it was very difficult at the time because you had to get a sponsor who had to provide your family with a place to live and also with a job. And it was hard on my father because he was older and he did not have any education. He left school when he was 16 years old.
How old were you?
I was 12 years old, and it was on my birthday that we left, and I was very upset at my mother for a long time because I felt that she did it on purpose to leave on my birthday, and I left all my friends, which was hard for me. And we were supposed to go to Chicago, but when we landed in San Francisco, my mother her sister met us at the by the ship, and she hadn't seen her sister in 20 years, and her sister convinced her to try to stay, which we did.
Who did you travel with?
My father, mother, and my brother, and we traveled in the bottom of the ship of the President Wilson, where there were hundreds of women in cots, and my mother and I was seasick for 30 days, and my father and brother were fine.
How was the change from China to America?
It was different. I always thought I was Chinese, and I had to learn that I wasn't Chinese, that I was Russian. So it was a change. It was a hard change in the beginning.
I was really surprised by my interview with my grandma. I never knew she grew up in a refugee camp in China, and that was kind of crazy to hear. She still lived a happy childhood because I guess she didn't understand everything. When my grandma was trying to show me the doll that she was talking about that she got from Santa Claus, she went to this chest in the front of her house that I constantly walk by. I sometimes put my keys on top of it or put my shoes next to it or something like that. And she opened it, and I realized I never thought to ask about that chest or even look inside the chest. And apparently it was from China, and it was the only thing she could bring from China. But yeah, in the end, I'm really glad I did this. I learned a lot from my grandma that I probably never would have thought to ask.